The game never stops, and neither do we. Welcome to the SDH Network. We're always around the corner from everywhere, and it's Tuesday. This is your Morning Espresso, brought to you by Oglethorpe University, Atlanta's premier undergraduate learning experience and soccer powerhouse. Had a historic College Cup final last night. Total chaos at Old Trafford. A worrying injury scare for the U.S. men's national team. Pour yourself a cup and let's get into it. If you ever needed proof that this game that we all love gives us everything, all the emotions, joy, frustration, beauty, stress, Monday kind of delivered the full platter for you. You had a first ever college national champion crowned in overtime. An 8-goal Premier League match where nobody knew what was coming next. And in that match, one of the most important players for the U.S. men's national team leaving in the first 5 minutes. Look, some days tell the story of the game better than any long-term trends ever could. Monday was one of those days. Let's start in Cary, North Carolina, where the NCAA College Cup lived up to the occasion and then some. University of Washington, the Huskies, they defeated NC State 3-2 in overtime. First national championship in program history for Washington, and they had to do it the hard way. They were excellent early on, controlling where the game was being played. They forced mistakes. They got their breakthrough just before halftime. Zach Ramsey pounced on a rebound to make it 1-0. Coming out of the break, Washington stayed on the front foot. Joe Dale doubled the lead in the 62nd minute. Looked like, no worries, the Huskies have got this under control. But NC State, playing just down the road from campus in Raleigh, they didn't flinch. They pulled one back. They kept pushing. They found the equalizer really late in regulation. And then it went to overtime. And I say overtime because it was a college match, and the terminology is a little bit different. Sometimes it's confusing for us commentators. And it's also confusing in this case because in college overtime, it's a golden goal. We saw that in the international game for a very short era of time. Having seen it this season consistently in college and over the years, I don't hate it, honestly. This took 1 minute and 54 seconds. Harrison Bertos finished the golden goal. Celebrations did get paused for a quick video review, and then Washington could finally exhale and celebrate again. Their first title, 6 straight wins to end the season, running through the gauntlet of the NCAA tournament. And this was a championship earned against the team, kind of on the road for the Huskies, over 10,000 fans in Cary, North Carolina, and Washington got it done. This tells you a lot about the level of the college game, the level of the intensity, the quality of the college game. It's a good product. And as I say many, many times throughout the fall season, if you are near a college program, especially if you have kids, go watch some college soccer. It's almost always free. You get to, especially with kids, you get to see these athletes up close and personal. A lot of times you'll get to talk to them afterwards if you want to. These are the first role models for young kids who play the game that they can see up close. And what you're starting to see as well is more and more of these players are going on to play professionally. And look, that's not always in Major League Soccer. It is in MLS. And you've got the Super Draft coming up later this week. Atlanta United's got the number 2 pick. You could see a player from this game picked. I actually very well could see a player from this game picked. There are quite a few contenders. But you will also see these players go on and play professionally in the USL, and you'll see them go on and play professionally overseas. I love the college game. I love what it does for the communities. Support it. It is a very valuable part of the American soccer ecosystem. And I like the golden goal too. I'm starting to be won back over again to promoting golden goal across all competitions worldwide. Let me just continue to upset folks internationally. Before I do, let's move on to Manchester. Let's go to Old Trafford. Manchester United 4, Bournemouth 4. This was a spectacle. United led 3 different times, and they still could not win. The opening half was frantic. It was open. United looked good going forward, shaky defensively. Bournemouth punished them for their mistakes. United responded. This was just a heavyweight fight with haymakers being thrown from both sides. And then somehow the second half got even crazier. Bournemouth took control. United stormed back with 2 goals in quick succession. It looked like history was about to be made, and they gave it away again. I mean, the momentum was all over the place. Neither team could slow things down when they needed to. Ruben Amorim afterwards, he said that, it was inspiring, it was entertaining. These are things that he loves for his teams to be able to do, but it was also deeply frustrating. This is the level of consistency and control is where he doesn't have it quite yet for Manchester United. They're better. They're much better than they have been under him, and they have been potentially in previous years. However, I think the frustration comes from the fact that you see these moments where it is very, very good, and it's not consistently very, very good. Managing some of the moments where it starts to get away, protecting things where it starts to get away from you a little bit. That part still isn't quite there. Also interesting to see Amorim's Manchester United look a little bit different shape-wise, and people got way out of pocket with the talk about Amorim being stubborn and not wanting to change how he wants to play, and is that right, is that wrong, blah, blah, blah. You saw it look a little bit different here, and he's probably going to have to play slightly differently with players away during the African Cup of Nations. So, line of 4, oh no. I'm sure he can handle it, and it's not saying that his way of playing is not where he wants to be. Just structurally, he might have to change it a little bit based on who's available, and that's okay because, trust me, there's been times already where his 3 center backs with 2 wing backs has looked like a line of 4 in matches for extended periods of time. That's how the game works. Let's go back to that game. And Tyler Adams, this was maybe the most concerning storyline, at least for those of us on this side of the Atlantic. Very early, his day ended, exited after 5 minutes. He blocked a Mateus Cunha shot, immediately grabbed his left knee. Andoni Iraola, the manager for Bournemouth, suspects MCL damage, still waiting on confirmation and the severity of it. He did walk off under his own power, but if you have followed his career, you know why this is a scary moment for the U.S. men's national team. He's had a lot of injury history. This isn't really right now the concern, at least again on this side of the Atlantic. It's not about Bournemouth's midfield balance. It's not about the March friendlies. Is he going to be okay for 2026 in the World Cup? If it's MCL, that's more possible than anything else. He is one of the most important players that the U.S. has because he organizes, he covers the ground in the midfield. He sets the tone for the team. Hopefully this is not anything major. Hopefully this is a small sprain. Hopefully this is a weeks, not months kind of injury. But it does have to give Mauricio Pochettino a lot of concern here ahead of the holidays. And this is a storyline that we'll be tracking closely. When there's an update, we will let you know. Let's bring it back home to some stateside moves and momentum. A lot happening in MLS, NWSL, American soccer right now. Here's a little bit of a news dump for you. Michael Bradley, he's the new manager at Red Bull New York, promoted after leading the second team to the MLS Next Pro title. His first MLS head coaching job. It's a unique moment because, and I don't know in any sport anywhere in the world how often this has happened. I know it has, at least I think it has. Bob Bradley managed this club when they were the Metro Stars. He managed the club, and now his son is managing the same club down the line. We've seen fathers and sons work together in clubs. I cannot think in American sports of a son who followed the father into a professional club. Let me know if there is one, if you know about it. I'm very intrigued by that. You know me, I like the trivia, I like the little bits of history. So I'm fascinated by this one. I think Michael Bradley's going to be a very successful manager. We'll see how long it takes him to get going. We talked about it on SDH AM yesterday. Inter Miami, they have added experience, and they've replaced Jordi Alba. They have signed Spanish fullback Sergio Reguilon as a free agent. Champions League pedigree, Premier League time, depth for a squad to compete everywhere, and he's your replacement for Jordi Alba more likely than not. LA Galaxy, they spent big on defense. They have acquired Jacob Glesnes from Philadelphia for more than $2 million in general allocation money. They also get the rights to a potential homegrown as well. Former Defender of the Year, joining the reigning champs. I feel like that price might be a little high, just a little bit. We'll see. We'll see if that ends up paying off for the Galaxy. NWSL, the Boston Legacy made a statement signing Casey Murphy to one of the most lucrative goalkeeper contracts in league history as they build towards their debut next season. Love to see the investment in the goalkeeper side and in the spine of the team to build an expansion team. Some other potential news that's out there. Obed Vargas is being linked with a move to Club America from Seattle Sounders. There's some moving parts that got to happen there. Stefan Fry has re-signed with the Sounders. Luca Orejano, an offer came in from Monterrey of Liga MX, but according to Herman Garcia Grova this morning, the offer was insufficient. $3.5 million for 100% of his pass, and Cincinnati said, nah. Here's the big picture, though, when it comes to what's going on in this country. I know, and we talked about it yesterday on SDHAM, like you'll get attendance swings and, oh, no, it's down 5%. No, the ratings are only up 6%. And we go round and round and round. New Nielsen data shows that soccer's audience in the U.S. is continuing to grow ahead of the World Cup. These big international tournaments, they pull in casual fans. The domestic leagues benefit from the halo effect. And I think you see the domestic leagues benefit from each other's halo effects as well. The NWSL's continued to expand its fan base, as we're seeing here in Atlanta with an NWSL team coming. I think that is a benefit to Atlanta United and the men's game and everything else that's happening soccer-wise in Atlanta. When you have more regular day-to-day things like Atlanta United and Atlanta NWSL, we have more day-to-day conversations like we do here on the Morning Espresso, where, yes, we talk about what's happening locally, and then we talk about what's happening nationally, and then we talk about what's happening internationally. And hopefully, one of these random crazy games that I'm mentioning here on Espresso, or we have in Picks of the Week on Soccer Over There, and we get into on SDHAM, hopefully one of these piques your interest, and you're like, hey, I'm gonna sign up for Fnatis, fntz.co/soccer down here if you have not already. And I'm going to watch the Colombian Copa final tonight. I'm gonna watch the Intercontinental Cup tomorrow with Flamengo and PSG. And it all continues to feed itself. That's what's really cool. The momentum is real, and it is definitely accelerating. Let's get into the refill, some quick hits to keep on your radar. Kylian Mbappe, it was announced this morning that he has won his legal battle against Paris Saint-Germain. French Labor Court ordered the club to pay €55 million plus accrued vacation pay and unpaid wages and bonuses. PSG's counterclaims were dismissed in full. Also, Mbappe's claims of, I think, essentially emotional distress and all of that, those were dismissed. So it is literally what had been agreed to between the two sides contractually. And PSG said that those were null when Mbappe decided to leave on a free. And the court said, no, those are actually contractual terms and you need to pay, and they will be. I mentioned the Intercontinental Cup final that's set for tomorrow in Doha. Flamengo playing PSG. Felipe Luis of Flamengo, he insists that Flamengo will not abandon their identity despite the challenge. They beat Pyramids of Egypt over the weekend. They beat Cruz Azul. Before that, they won the Brazilian League. Before that, it's been a very busy few weeks for Flamengo. We will see if they can push PSG in that match tomorrow. Copa del Rey, round of 32 starts today. Every La Liga club, first division club, goes on the road this week. Prime conditions for chaos. Real Madrid heading to Talavera. Barcelona visiting Guadalajara, club that we featured on Picks of the Week here recently. Sheffield Wednesday, the ownership search has narrowed to 3 bidders as administrators look for a preferred buyer. One of those is former Newcastle owner Mike Ashley, The club remains on the bottom of the championship after an 18-point deduction, and what they're trying to get out of this ownership change is enough of a sale and enough money coming in to cover debts that the previous ownership accrued. If they do not pay those off, then they will have a 15-point deduction next year on top of the 18 points this year. And that 15 points next year, that would make it really difficult to climb back up to the championship immediately. Last one, the J League, they are in the process of shifting to the same calendar that MLS is shifting to, the August to May calendar. J League's going to do that in 2026, so they will have a short season, sprint season, special season, whatever we want to end up calling it. They will do that in the first half of 2026 before the World Cup, and then start their new format in August of 2026. So, yesterday, you had a first-time national champion in the U.S. college scene. You had Premier League madness. Yeah, we got a moment of concern for the U.S. men's national team. There's always something. Always some positives. Always some concerns. That's what we love about this game, isn't it? It's why the game never stops. And it's why we'll be back tomorrow, and it's why I'll be back on SDH AM this morning starting at 9:05. If you're not able to join live, you can always catch that as a podcast wherever you get your soccer down here. Podcasts. No Atlanta soccer tonight this evening. There is football bowl games going on, but if you are not subscribed to the Off the Woodwork podcast from 92.9 The Game and Odyssey, you're doing it wrong. If you're not, you probably are. And if you're not, go ahead and do it, because I will have a new edition of the Atlanta Soccer Flashback for you later this evening on that podcast feed. A lot of stuff coming from SDH on 92.9 and vice versa. We are obviously great partners, great friends, and we work together to grow the game and talk about it for all of you. Thank you for spending part of your morning with me. For everyone here at the SDH Network, I'm Jason Longshore. Enjoy your morning espresso, and big thank you to our friends at Oglethorpe University for being our presenting sponsor of the Morning Espresso.